Hola clase, soy yo, el señor Moore. It's me, Mr. Moore. We have a lot to cover this week for chapter 4.1. A huge important step in your bilingual education this week as we look at regular AR verb conjugation, continuing to look at subject pronouns and a very, very large set of vocabulary for this week. So very active, and I hope that you're able to follow along well. Remember, if this gets confusing for you, feel free to jot down questions, bring them to me in class, before class, after class, or even during while we're going over it. The idea is to help you. There will be some extra credit embedded in this today. It will be not vocabulary based. It will be verb conjugation based. So we'll see how you do with that. Let's go ahead and get started right now with our grammar lessons. These would be on the reversed side of your vocab sheet. There's a lot of notes this week, so you might want to write a little small if you want to keep it all on one page, but it doesn't matter. You can always add on extra pages and staple if you wish. Let's go ahead and begin. Likes, dislikes, free time, AR verb conjugation, prepositions con and que. First item, present tense of regular AR verbs. In Spanish and English, verbs change depending on the subject. The subject is the person doing the action. This is called conjugating the verb. In Spanish, there are three main groups of verbs. There are the infinitive, the unchanged form of the verb, ends in AR. And the first group you learn to conjugate are the AR verbs. So there are AR, ER, and IR verbs, and we are going to focus on the AR verbs. So to conjugate hablar or any other regular AR verb, you'll take the part of the verb called the stem, in this case HABL, and add the following endings to it. So this is a lot like the verb ser from last week, but now we're learning something that's going to be more universally applicable to a whole bunch of different verbs. Here's what it might look like. This should look normal to you over here. These are the subject pronouns yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, y ustedes. Important to have this both memorized, both in order and also their definitions. Here are the endings for all AR verbs, whether the verb is cantar, hablar, estudiar, trabajar, tomar, tocar. It doesn't matter what the verb is. If it's an AR verb and is regular, it's going to have these same endings. You'll only keep the stem and change the endings. Example, for the verb hablar, which is to talk, if I want to say I talk, the yo form, it's hablo. I drop the AR and add O to hablo, if you will. Tú is going to be hablas, so you talk. He talks or she talks is habla, él habla or ella habla, or usted habla if you formal talk. Nosotros hablamos, we talk. Vosotros habláis, you all informal talk. Ellos or ellas hablan, they talk. Ustedes hablan, you all formal talk. So in each one of these situations, I'm kind of getting rid of this AR and adding one of these new endings, depending on who the subject is. And it doesn't matter if I did this for hablar, but I could do this, like I said, for any AR verb. Example, the verb estudiar, which means to study. Well, you'll notice that the same pattern emerges. Estudió, estudias, estudia, estudiamos, estudiáis, estudian. They'll all end, if it's a regular AR verb, it'll end in either o, as, a, amos, ais, or an, in that descending order associating with these subject pronouns. So without even seeing your subject pronouns, you can just kind of look at a list like this and you should know exactly what they all mean. If you know that this is estudiar, you know that the first one's always the yo form, so it must mean I study. The next one is estudias, ends in ea, so it must mean you study. The third one always associates with él, ella, and usted, so he or she studies, or you formal study. The fourth one down will always be the nosotros form, so we study. And that's the process that we're trying to get you more familiar with. So, estudiáis, you all informal study. Ellos estudian, they study. Ellas estudian, they study. Or ustedes estudian, you all study. A big part of what we do in class is associating these different subjects with the different verb conjugations that go with them, as well as paying attention to their definitions too. So we'll be spending a lot of time practicing this sort of stuff in class. Here's an irregular verb. We only call it irregular because you'll notice in this case it follows the same pattern, o, as, a, amos, ice, or on. But in this case, instead of just leaving it as J-U-G, the verb jugar, by the way, this is the verb for to play. Jugar is to play. It becomes J-U-E when you conjugate. So juego, juegas, juegan. And then in the nosotros and vosotros form, it reverts back to its original stem, J-U-G, jug, jugamos, jugáis. And then back to this weird stem change thing again, juegan. So that's an example of an irregular verb. It still follows a pattern, but there's something a little bit different to it. Just as a reminder for you, but it is all in the same order though. The pattern never changes with regard to its order. So therefore, yo juego is I play. Tú juegas is you play. Él juega, he plays. Ella juega, she plays. Usted juega, you formal play. Nosotros jugamos, we play. Vosotros jugáis, you all, informal play. Ellos juegan, or ellas juegan, they play. And ustedes juegan, you all, formal play. So that's just a better idea of verb conjugation in general. I know that we've been sort of inching toward this. It's going to get very dynamic very quickly. So spend a little time conjugating and memorizing the verb jugar, as well as all AR verbs that are part of your vocab. As you'll see in a moment, that's quite a bit. A little bit of note about the preposition con, means with. To talk about things with someone else, con is used with pronouns like él, ella, or ellos. So, for example, ¿Quién trabaja con Luisa? Who works with Luisa? Well, yo trabajo con ella. I work with her. ¿Quién toma limonada con él? Who drinks lemonade with him? Alegría toma limonada con él. Alegría drinks lemonade with him. The expressions with me and with you have a kind of a special form. So if I want to say with me, I say conmigo. If I want to say with you, it's going to be contigo. As in the phrases, ¿Quién estudia contigo? Who studies with you? Mi amigo estudia conmigo. My friend studies with me. So contigo and conmigo are some special words. Almost done here. And que is a very common word in Spanish. It can refer to either people or things. It can mean that, which, or who. That's obviously some pretty different meanings and significances there. So you have to look at context clues and things that will help you to clue you in as to which word it may actually be referring. For example, tengo una amiga que canta bien. I have a friend that sings well. Well, obviously, it can also kind of mean who. I have a friend who sings well. I have a friend that sings well. I have a friend which sings well. Obviously, one of those is better than the others, but they all kind of work reasonably well together. So when you have que without an accent, if it doesn't have an accent, that means it's going to be this connecting word, that, which, or who. Example, la música que me gusta escuchar, that's rock. The music that I like to listen to is rock. Just another example. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your vocabulary for this week. Quite a lot going on here. Oh, I know that's horrible to see. I hope you can read it as well. Let me see if I can make that just a little bit bigger here for you. And unfortunately, I might not be able to. Let's see. Just going to try to make it so that you can see things a little bit bigger. View, zoom. So you guys are watching me learn how to use Microsoft Word effectively. It's pretty effective. Yeah, let's try 140%. I like 140%. That's a little easier to take a look at. Here we go. And limited time. Okay. A mí me gusta, I like. A quién le gusta, who likes. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? Bailar, to dance. Cantar, to sing. Cuidar a tu hermano, to take care of your sibling. Descansar en el parque, to rest in the park. Dibujar, to draw. Escuchar música, to listen to music. Estudiar, to study. Hablar por teléfono, to talk on the phone. Lavar el carro, to wash the car. Lavar la ropa, to wash the clothing. Mirar la televisión, to watch TV. Nadar, to swim. Pintar, to paint. La piscina, the pool or the swimming pool. Por eso means for that or for that reason. ¿Quién asks who or whom. Sacar la basura, to take out the trash. Al is to the. Antes de, beforehand. Caminar con el perro, to walk the dog. La cena, dinner. Con means with. Conmigo, with me. Contigo, with you. Después de means after or afterward. El tiempo libre, free time. La guitarra, the guitar. El helado, ice cream. Jugar, to play. Montar en bicicleta, to ride a bike. Pasar el rato con amigos means to hang out with friends. El piano, the piano. Practicar, to practice. Preparar, to prepare. Que can mean that, which, or who when it doesn't have an accent mark. ¿Qué haces después de clases? What do you do after class? El refresco is a refreshment, pop, soda. Regresar is to return. El restaurante, the restaurant. Tocar, to play an instrument, not to play a game. Tomar is to drink. It's another word that means to drink. Trabajar is to work. I'd like to pause right here because you'll notice that there are a lot of AR verbs. Trabajar, tomar, tocar, preparar, practicar, jugar, montar, caminar. Moving on up here, bailar, cantar, cuidar, descansar, dibujar, escuchar, estudiar. A lot of AR verbs. Extra credit for this week. If you want to earn 5 points of extra credit, please take 5 AR verbs and memorize their conjugations and their meanings. And write them down on a note card, those 5 AR verbs. Give them to me. And I will find time on Monday or Tuesday. You'd have to turn them in to me by Monday to be eligible for this. And I will quiz you on some of their conjugations. I'll ask you either, like if you chose, for example, bailar, cantar, cuidar, descansar, dibujar. Let's say you wrote those 5 down. I'll say, okay, give me the yo form of dibujar. And you'd say, yo dibujo. Okay. Give me the tú form of cantar. And you'd say, cantas. Give me the nosotros form of bailar, and you'd say bailamos. So let's see if you can, if you're interested in doing that. I'll tell you what, I'll make it a little easier for you. Instead of 5, let's make it just 3. Let's bust it down to 3 AR verbs. Pick any 3 that you want, write them down on a note card, turn them into me, and I will give you a 1 to 2 minute quiz on verb conjugation. And if you can conjugate AR verbs regularly and well, then you're going to get some extra credit. And plus, you'll also learn how to conjugate, which is my real goal, is to get you to conjugate early and well and often. So very quickly, some sample sentences. I'm not going to get through all these because our time frame cuts us off at 15 minutes, but I'll be able to go through about the first 10 here. First one, a ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer? I'm going to pause for a moment. Sorry about that, had to pause for a moment. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? A Manuel le gusta estudiar. Does Manuel like to study? ¿A quién le gusta bailar y cantar? Who likes to dance and sing? Me gusta pintar. I like to paint. No, no le gusta estudiar. No, he doesn't like to study. Pero le gusta hablar por teléfono. But he likes to talk on the phone. A mí me gusta bailar y cantar. I like to dance and sing. The rest of these I'd like you to figure out on your own. And before we get going here in the last 15 minutes, or 15 seconds, I'd like you to say hello to our special studio guest today. Come on in here, Miss Madsen, say hi.
Hello.
Very good. Study well, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Ciao.